Hello, Toastmasters. Welcome to the final episode of this series, Leadership and Changing Trends. In the previous episodes, we saw starting from the humanity, how leadership developed, how those qualities came into picture, and why leadership is important and what is the future of the leadership. So we wanted to conclude with that AI will be the future of the everything and how the leadership will be governed with the new AI concept. So this is the final episode and we will see more on this, the futuristic leadership. We know starting of this millennium, Steve Jobs come up with the micro technology. The cell phones were almost rare in the 20th century, but 21st century is full of cell phones in just first 10 years, thanks to the iPhone. Steve Jobs put I in everything, all his products. After the evolution of iPhone, 10 years after that, I think in I, we are adding one more letter. That is AI. So last decade or decade and a half was driven by I. And now mostly the future is full with AI in everything. So what should be the leadership under this scenario? What should be the futuristic leadership? We know that AI comes and takes away jobs and do whatever. That's not exactly true. Let's go back into the history. When in the 1980s to 90s, desktop revolution came and Windows was becoming the household name. When desktop computers came everywhere, people thought that's going to change and take away the jobs, which is true in the sense some types of jobs go away, but new types of jobs come in. So we need to see and have a leader should have the clear vision what the new thing is coming in. Definitely, we need to go into the we have to go to future and it's a new era. Definitely, jobs of this type will not be there. Considering 100 years back, if you see what kind of things were there and now, so it's natural. Only thing in the history, the generation was 100 to 100, then become like 50 years, and now it's become like 10 years. So generation is changing in terms of technological advancement in like 10 years. If you see in 1400, probably Copernicus first told us that, definitely told us with mathematics that Earth is not the center of the universe, rather it's just a spinning body. Then Newton, after 100 or more than that years, Newton came up with the law of gravity. Then after 100 years after that, industrial revolution started. So the revolution or the age was changing after like 100 years. The newer invention was coming after 100 years. But now if you see, it's becoming like a 10 years. Within 10 years, the technology gets absolute and the new thing comes in. So we need the leadership to live this. So they have to be operational in the current era, and the new era is they have to, that's become like a future and which is almost immediate. So that kind of leadership we want. Definitely, I would suggest one quality. We saw many qualities of leadership and we concluded that the greatest type of quality is exactly required at the situation, at the point. What is the situation that should dictate what type of leadership is required? But what something should be favorite, like for my favorite. So I would say the leadership should be definitely collaborative. Considering in the future, we don't need to do certain things. So leadership needs to be firm and handle those situations. Last century, as we saw, there were two hot wars, then one cold. In this century, we are something colder than that because we don't know what exactly happening. But that holds so much resources. Starting from the humanity till now, we have fought multi-millions of wars. And after the war is completed, forget about which party to which party. After the war completes, what we do? Can we do that before the war? That is collaboration. So we can simulate with the AI what is the war situation, which are the parties, after the war, what happens, who will win, because those kind of sentimental analysis or inference we can conclude from the data in today's world without even doing anything. So do that before the war. So that will free up the resources. And those are required because we need more ambulances than the fighter planes, I mean. Apart from that, we need more resources for the futuristic innovations. So why we want to waste certain things? If we are collaborative and we understand now whatever we used to do for millions of years, I mean, that's not going to produce anything. So we understand beforehand that kind of maturity level we have. And with the simulation, even we can understand if we do this, two parties do this, then what happens? So we do that and collaborate. That will free up a lot of resources. That needs a very distinctive leadership, a very strong leadership, very collaborative leadership. It could be on the corporate level as well as at a political level. So that's what I want to stress. As we said, like this Earth-based civilization is called type 0 civilization. We really don't know anything other than Earth, whether civilization exists or not. But fictitiously, like in our theory, the civilizations are classified like this. Type 0 civilization uses only the resources from the planet they are living. Type 1 civilization, which goes further than that, they harness more resources from the star in that planet, which planet is orbiting. So they get more resources from the solar. So like we have to get the more resources from the sun, which we see currently our energy harness from sun is not that big percent. We are totally living on the fossil as of now, and we are banking that Arctic, Antarctic, and Greenland are still not explored. A lot of ocean floors are still not explored. So something still come out, and that will take us for 100 plus more or whatever number of years on the fossil fuels. Instead of that, if we try to harness solar energy, then we become type 1. And type 2 is even bigger. I mean, they can harness the resources from the galaxy. So let's not go there right now. Let's be on the type. Let's try to go to type 1 or try to harness more energy. Because if we have energy, I mean, we can have Earth-based life for millions of years. This idea is not new, or I'm not inventing it or proposing it or anything. If you remember in 1980s, there was something called Star Wars. The concept was totally different and used for different purpose. But thing was that they will put reflectors in the space and do something. So let's not do that. Use it for probably energy harness. And there are a lot of ideas are there. We know there are plenty of crazy ideas. We have to take the good one of it. So that's what the leadership we need, that it should point to us to the good ideas. As we said, there are millions of crazy ideas. And in 1990s, one of the most crazy idea was selling books on internet from the garage. I mean, how crazy was that? Because in 1990s, who will buy the books on internet, and this guy will take from the book from his garage to give it to them? I mean, why not? They will come to the garage. So see how crazy was that idea. But it got further expanded and become so nice. I mean, like we see now, it becomes $1 trillion idea. So it's the same thing. So we need those kind of things. Because if we solve the energy problem effectively, then that will solve almost everything. Because we can, if we have the energy, we can, water problems are resolved, temperature problems will be resolved. We can make the ocean as a drinkable water. That means food problems and everything else is resolved. So energy is the most important thing. So our leadership should, and our resources should be involved on that. Future is the space exploration. So currently, the kind of resources we do the standoffs, or I mean, why we really need to do that? We know that that kind of resources will not produce much, but we need that because we want to have the stability. So if we are collaborative, the entire world is collaborative and focused on something different, so that's a bigger type of leadership. But that will solve a lot of problems. So that's what I want to stress in the as a futuristic leadership. And definitely in this type of leadership, we are boosting new jobs. As we said, this type of job will go away and a new type of job will come. That's the only thing. Now we know the future is driven by AI. So the robots are going to come. Chips will be there. Chips will be installed in our brain or humans. So we have to be ready for that. We have to be ready for a stem cells research as well, because if you need to go to space or do something else, then our genes needs to be evolved. Now, definitely here I mean, lots of other issues come because of, if you consider like a robotics or stem cells, then it can be misused. Definitely, that's true. But that's what is intended. I want to explain this further. Look at this. I think you will enjoy it. What was the purpose of all the life or humanity? We know after the deep impact, mammals started living. I mean, mammals started ruling. Earlier, I don't know how effective mammals were. They were more at the dinosaurs, but after that, mammals came into more into picture, and then humanity probably started developing. Why? According to Darwin's theory, or you can develop your own theory, how the genes develops, because they try to be as a natural selection and try to, for the survival, food, and reproduction, to get more the genes evolve based upon the surroundings. That's what we see. We saw in this century, this phone, it has pixels, like colors. But millions of years ago, do you know that chameleon, it changes its colors? He is the RGB pigment expert. Millions of years ago, using his sentimental analysis, he changes his colors. He knows red means somebody will afraid of it. Or he knows what is the leaf. They are green, so he makes himself green. So he's do you know that was in nature? We didn't invent anything. So what is the purpose of human? Because we see everything has been evolved for certain reasons. Like deer has a speed, cheetah has a speed, lion has claws and teeth. What human has? No, no nails, extremely weak eyesight. We cannot see in the night. Our hearing is not well. Our smell is not good. So if we put in the jungle, anything runs on the four legs will take over us. We cannot eat the food, we cannot chew it, we cannot chew the meat unless it's cooked. That means we will be just a fruitarians because that's the only thing we can eat in nature without cooking. So why brain got developed? So let's talk from the theophysical view of the point of view. So it looks like there should be some creator. I mean, why brain got developed or evolved or survived? Because it was going to it creates tools. Brain created tools for the survival. We are using something different than what is inside. So is that the reason brain was developing, that it will create tools? I mean, how the genes got developed? I mean, I'm totally lost on that. How brain was evolving, considering that it is going to develop a tools, we just started creating tools and then, okay, let's get your claws inside, let's get your back straight and then just develop the brain because it will create tools. I think somebody creator might be doing that. So we understand that we should understand from scientific or whatever point of view you want to see, the brain is developed to create tools or probably use the intelligence. Somebody wanted to create the kind of intelligence, something intelligence should be developed, and to save the life on these, probably take it further. That might be the reason. That's why the brain got developed. So the robotics, we don't have to feel bad about it. Those are the invention or those are the tools which our brain has created. So we have to use it. I mean, misuse should be stopped. Don't use it, it's also a misuse. So I mean, we have to do proper use. That's all. We cannot stop it. So those are future. Like, because if you want to survive on the Earth-based civilization, probably the creator or the architect is trying to save us from the deep impact. Because humanity came after deep impact. So if you want to go with some wild theory, then yeah. So probably creator created the brain so that it can do that Noah's Ark kind of thing. I don't know how that thing came, but might be that's the idea, that take the samples and put it onto some other planet. Okay, jokes apart. So we have to understand the leadership needs to be strong enough to go for the newer changes which are coming in and put a balance to it. And that's the future of the leadership. Because we need the guidance, as we understand. The mass needs the guidance and something to follow. And if we have that kind of leadership, that's the great. We have plenty of examples from corporate side. I said our admiral of the space or our Amazon hero. So sustenance on the earth and the future of the innovation. That's the two things needs to be there. So sustenance on earth means we have to stop using the plastic. I mean, plastic needs to be recyclable. So we need to have the technology to recycle these. Then paper should be almost stopped unless it's required. Go for the digitization, because I mean, don't want to waste the paper and kill the Amazon. Instead of that, start using more digital things. Even everybody should be digital. Don't print even the credit card slips. Send emails. So much paper will be saved. So Amazon share will go up. All the digitization, all the tablets and everything sales will go up. So Amazon will go up and Amazon will be saved. So that kind of thing. So those kind of leadership we should have from the corporate, from the community, and from the political side. So that's what I'm envisioning. Leadership should be lateral because current leadership ladder is hierarchical, and that's how it used to be, and it will be. But that's what is the servant leadership come into picture because it proposes the lateral thing. Lateral means the leadership is trying to remove your impediments, see your schedule, where are you, what's happening, check the progress, do the coordination between the stakeholders, and make sure the project continues progress well. Then there will be probably tech manager. So he will be looking after the tech issues or technological side of the project. Then there will be developers, architect, and quality and all the things. So that's how we can keep them. Instead of hierarchy means somebody at the higher top and then okay, everybody's roll up there. That's not exactly should be. If we have a lateral thing that boost the uh, productivity. So we saw our admiral of the space. He lived by the example. He showed us. People may have their own opinions. I'm just looking from the leadership style. So if you see Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, uh, Elon Musk, or late Steve Jobs, and so many more, Zuckerberg, or everybody. So those are definitely showed us a good leadership. I'm not going into any corporate competition or anything. I'm not fighting it NDVI versus OpenAI or something. But these are the leadership styles. So we see they are the down to the earth leadership helps the productivity more and innovates more. So we'll take only the positive part of it. So those kind of leadership I'm envisioning. Leadership should be based upon value. It should not be hierarchical. So how much value is added to the project? So that should matter. So that will give the motivation will be increasing. Recognition and motivation. Recognition increases the motivation always because that can, as we know, self-actualization is the most important than apart from everything else. I mean, I'm not saying that is not important, but yeah. So self-actualization is achieved, then everything else we can think. I mean, everything else also required, but so recognition is the most important thing, and validation. So that will govern the projects very well, and then definitely we need to have a vision. No idea will be ideas are crazy, but not all. We should have a vision to look at that and uh, be selective to see what is good and then some kind of futuristic leadership. So we don't want to make like a horror, like, oh, AI, so jobs go. It may not be. Different type of thing comes. So that's how we have to look at this. As we said, technology comes, it can solve the food, the basic necessities, what humanity couldn't do so far, food, shelter, and clothing and other things. That's possible with the technology, right? So we should always look for the innovation and the vision and certain things at this level of maturity, like that we don't need it. We need to put the resources more on this. That's the uh, that's the idea, my idea of the leadership. Definitely, as I said, I did not take you to the books and explain like, okay, these are the type of leadership, and then these are the quality, and this I like, or this you like, or this should be. It's not like that. So, or I did not take those concepts. So it was like an open discussion, and I hope you like it. This series. This was my first on the podcast, and definitely do let me know what you think about it. Thank you very much, and definitely will meet future for different topics. Thank you.